Good morning, GHSA high school football officials. Welcome to Plays for Crew Discussion, week 7 of 2025 here. If you remember, last week we looked at the plays I left you with was one involving a punt formation, a couple of plays involving batting, and then I think I had 9 plays for defensive pass interference. So we have a lot to look at this morning. So let's get started here. If you remember this play here, this was a punt play that we were looking at, and what I was asking you to take a look at was the formation. And there's really nothing else on this play to discuss. All right, so we go back and we look and we pause it. What do we think about these linemen who are standing at maybe I would call a 90-degree angle? So let's take a look at what the rule says under Rule 232, Article 9. It says a lineman and any player who is facing his opponent's goal line with the line of his shoulders approximately parallel thereto and with his head or foot breaking an imaginary plane drawn parallel to the line of scrimmage through the waist of the snapper when the ball is snapped. So a lineman should have their shoulders parallel to the line of scrimmage. If we go back and we look at this play, it's pretty obvious that they do not. Now, this crew did not penalize this. However, they did address it, and this was no longer an issue going forward. Discussing this with the guys on the training committee, we all agree that this is illegal, that these linemen need to have their shoulders parallel with the line of scrimmage. I think we all agree as well that a foul on this play initially is certainly supported by rule. However, I think all of us agree that if we can address this the first time early in the game and educate the coaches on how those players need to be standing at the line of scrimmage, then we're good. There's not a real big advantage gained here. What we will notice is it does allow them to kind of go to the side quicker. And so maybe that is a little bit of an advantage. But again, this was just a good play for us to discuss and some things to look at, and we need to be addressing these types of plays. This is the first of one of the 3 batting plays that I shared with you last week. This first play here, we had a little shuffle pass to number 3 in the blue, who runs to about the 41-yard line. The line of scrimmage was the 43, whereas he was tackled and fumbled. And then we had a member of the defense bat the ball at around the 44, the 45-yard line. Then it was recovered by the defense at about the 49-yard line. As always, let's go and let's take a look at the rule here, okay? So we see here under Section 2 of batting that batting is intentionally slapping or striking the ball with the arm or hand. And then in Section Rule 9(7), we get specifics about illegal kicking and batting. The first one is talking about no player shall intentionally kick the ball other than a free or scrimmage kick. And then the Article 2 is speaking about no player shall bat a loose ball other than a pass or a fumble in flight or a low scrimmage kick in flight, which is attempting to block in or behind the neutral zone. The exception is speaking specifically to kicking plays, either free kicks or scrimmage kicks, but it speaks specifically to the fact that you can only bat the ball toward your own goal line. And that holds true for any play in which there is potentially batting. And then we see Article 3 says any pass in flight may be batted in any direction by an eligible receiver unless it is a backward pass batted forward by the passing team. Now, this ball was grounded, so that really doesn't apply here. But again, that's just the rule. So let's watch this play one more time, maybe a couple more times, and we'll see what we have here. So we have batting, and it's very hard to tell. We don't have an end zone view here. If this player had been out of bounds whenever he batted the ball, then obviously the play would have been dead, but that is not the case. We don't know that. So we have a foul for illegal batting at around the 44-yard line by B, or the defense. So the penalty enforcement on this play for illegal batting would be as such. We have a foul by B behind the line of scrimmage, so therefore we're going to come back to the previous spot and mark off 10 yards, which is going to give A, or the offense, a first down. Anytime that you have batting, this is a loose ball play, so the spot of the foul does matter. But in this case, because the foul was by B and it was behind the line of scrimmage, we would go back to the previous spot. Okay? All right. Now, let's take a look at this next play. It's very similar, except for it's a field goal attempt. We have a block, and then the ball is wandering around there. And then over around the sideline, we have a member of the receiving team bat the ball. You might also notice it looks like, I believe, number 90. It looks like he actually is guilty of illegal kicking, or he tries to kick it. All right. So if we did have illegal kicking on this play and we had illegal batting, obviously those two fouls would be live ball fouls by both A and B, and they would offset, and we would replay this down. I would note that it looked like the box moved a little quick on this play. But for the sake of this play and illegal batting, let's assume that the player was in bounds. Again, we don't have end zone view. We don't know if he was out of bounds. If it was out of bounds, then this would be a dead ball. But if he's in bounds and he bats it, then we have illegal batting. And again, this foul happened behind the line of scrimmage, and so we're going to go to the previous spot. We're going to mark off 10 yards, and we're going to have 1st and 10 for the blue. So again, just be aware of that penalty enforcement with illegal batting. Then on this play, we have a kickoff, which is grounded, and then it is batted, and then it goes out of bounds. So we have 2 fouls on this play. We have a foul for illegal batting at approximately the 40-yard line, and then the ball goes out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. So we have 2 fouls on this play, so therefore the receiving team has options. Obviously, they have the option to tack on 5 yards at the spot where it went out of bounds and get the ball at maybe the 38-yard line or whatever yard line it would be. Or they have the option to take the illegal kicking, and they have 2 options there. They can either go back, they can back them up and have them re-kick, or they could tack this on 10 yards from where the ball was dead, and let's just say it was the 33-yard line. Then we go 10 yards from there, and we give them 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line, and that falls under the 10-4-2 exception, I believe. So a very interesting play, and I'd also note that if the kicking team had touched that ball before it was grounded, then we would have had 3 fouls on the play. We would have had kick-catch interference, we would have had illegal batting, and we would have had a kick out of bounds. Again, that would only hold true as if he hit that ball while it was in the air. I showed you 9 plays last week involving defensive pass interference, all right? And I'm not going to go through all of this right here, but I would just say that if I were a deep official, I'm not. If I were a deep official, I would read these articles here before my games, just so that I would be clear on when the pass interference restrictions start for both A and B. I would want to know, what Article 10 says, when it is not for pass interference. Article 11, contact by B is obviously away from the direction of the pass. All those things, I would know those, all right? And the other thing that I would go over, if I were a deep official, and we do this quite regularly on our crew, I'll just have everybody spit off what that acronym is, P-chain. I'll just have them go over it. So early contact, playing through the back, grab and restrict, extending the arm across the body, cutting off or riding a receiver, hook and restrict, all right? So I would go over those, okay? Now, I'm not going to go through all of them. We're going to look at all these plays. I'm not going to dive into them. But I would just say that what you see on the screen, I sent all these plays to the experts that are deep officials and wing officials on the training committee, and this is what they came back with on these 9 plays. All right, and we really only had one that what I would call was a split decision. There was some discussion about whether or not this was or was not a foul. Most of these calls, if they were correct, if they had a foul on the play, then we ruled that as correct. If they didn't have a foul on the play, it could still be a correct call. I went with correct and incorrect in those situations. And as you can look at this, and you can screenshot this or come back to it, but let's take a look at these plays, okay? Let's look at this play number 1 here. All right, I believe that on this play, we said this was called DPI, and everyone on the committee felt like this was just a bang-bang play. There was not anything there. So let's go back. It says bang, bang. P-chain is not applicable. All right. So let's look at the next play. All right. This was a pass, I believe, kind of coming across the middle there. So, yeah, we have 2 things going on this play. All right. I don't recall. I don't think we had a flag on this play at all, and we should have, because we have defensive holding, which led to a DPI. All right, so if there was a foul on this play, I can't remember now. But anyway, this would be a grab and restrict, defensive holding, that becomes DPI. All right, play number 3. All right, this is a pass. It's going to happen kind of in the middle of the field here, and get another quick look at it. Okay, and we do have a flag that comes out on this play. Okay, all right. Actually, we have 2 flags on this play, and we have a correct call. Early contact, not playing the ball, hook and turn. All right. So number 4 here. All right, number 4. This is a long pass play here, and you can see we have a foul on this play, and I believe we had said this was early contact, not playing the ball. Potentially, let's go back and let's see what the experts said. Let's see. Early contact, not playing. Defender does not get his head turned around. All right, which was a correct call. All right, let's look at number 5 here. Keep my ducks in a row here. So I believe the committee said they did not feel like this was a foul. All right, so we got them running down the field, and we do have a flag that is thrown. And I'm not a deep official, but I tend to agree. This is not very much. This is what I would call a mice. And so on this play, we have not applicable, not enough contact to impact the play, no material restriction by the defender. Always asking yourself what category you can put it in. All right, number 6. All right, I believe number 6 is the play, and we had no foul on this play. We got a little contact right in the middle of the field. Mr. Reynolds brought up the fact that you might could get into discussion about a blindside block there. I'm not so sure that I think that meets the criteria. I mean, he definitely doesn't see him, but it's not very much. It's a love tap, maybe. It's not very much. But anyway, the committee felt like that the correct call on this was not applicable. And as you can see, it's a completed pass. Potential offender receiver was not the intended pass. Target contact by the defender occurred simultaneously with the ball traveling over the receiver's head. Bang, bang. All right. So that was number 6. Number 7 is one that we had a split decision on. All right. We do have a foul on this play live. Let y'all look at it one more time, and y'all can discuss it. I think this is a tough play. I will not share my opinion on the play. The defender is certainly not looking back. They're a little handsy there. Again, I don't know what category you put it in. Some thought early contact, not playing the ball. I certainly agree with not playing the ball. Was it restriction? One of the guys said some hand checking between both players initially, and B12 attempts to grab A29's arm just before the ball arrives, but I'm not convinced it was effective. A29 still gets both hands up in an attempt to catch the ball. However, B12 bats the ball down with his right hand. This is tight, and I have to think too hard. I prefer to let the play decide itself. I believe Clyde made that comment on that play. All right. So again, that's a good one to look at. All right. So we have play number 8, same game. We have a pass that's going to the far right of the end zone, and we all agreed that this was a foul, correctly officiated, early contact, not playing the ball. One more quick look at it for you. They did have a discussion about it, which is perfectly fine. They're getting themselves together. They both had a foul on the play, and then this is our last one. We've got number 27 in the white really going after. I don't believe that we had a foul on this play. I can't see it on film. I think everybody on the committee felt like that this was playing through the back of the receiver. Incorrect call. We should have had a foul on the play. All right. So again, I would just say to you guys as you look at these plays and as you go through this, This is how you get better. Going back and breaking down the film of these games, talking about the contact. We didn't really dive into the mechanics on these plays, but as far as where the fouls were coming from, whose primary key that is, all of that needs to be discussed. Those are great conversations for your crews to have that will help you be more accurate with your decisions in your games. All right, we're going to look at some interesting plays today. We're going to look at the first play is in relation to whether it's a fumble or a pass. And then we're going to look at some interesting plays, some great things for y'all to talk about, and then about 6 plays or 7 involving roughing the kicker. There'll be great discussions for you guys to have. All right, a coach sent this to us and wanted to know if it was legal. He calls it Army. All right, so they're shifting into a punt formation. Bravo Army division goes off. Charlie stays on, and then back in one of the guys in the Bravo stayed on the edge of the field there. All right, so they were practicing this during practice. So talk about this. All right, so I'm going to stop right here. It looks like we've got 11 in formation here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 11 in formation. All right, so this is a Bravo company. And then we're going to have Charlie, we're going to have Bravo go off, and Charlie is going to come on, with the exception of Bravo, whoever he was, that ends up over here around the sideline, who stays on. They snap the ball to the punter/quarterback, and they throw a pass to the receiver, who was in the Bravo company, who did not go all the way off the field. Let you watch it one more time. Again, looks like we got 11. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're throwing it to Bravo over there. What you got? If this happens in one of your games, what you got? This play did happen in a game. All right, so we got a running play up the middle. And then we've got this player who comes over near the sideline, and we've got the end zone view. Oh, let's go back. Hang on just a second here. Sorry about that, guys. We have the end zone. So we have this player who is coming to the sideline like he was going to catch a backward pass. He's about the 40-yard line, going over here to stand by the coach. All right, we'll look at the end zone view here. There's not really much to see from that. All right, so, all right, so goes over here. Stands. Then we have the end zone view here of that same play. It's all one big clip. Right. Running play is over. And then we have the next play, and we see that we have this guy standing over here by the coach. And he's looking towards the sideline. He's not facing the line of scrimmage. He's off the line. I don't think that's a problem. All right. And then they snap the ball, and then they throw a pass to this player who scores a touchdown. Okay? Are y'all okay with that? Is that good? Is it legal? Talk about that in your pre-games this week. Okay? Again, he's standing near the sideline. They snap the ball. He's not moving to the quarterback, and we throw a pass for a touchdown. Talk about that play this week. Okay? This play here, let's go back to the very beginning of this play, okay? All right, so this is an interesting play as well. So I believe we have 10 people in formation here. And then we have the player step on, gets out to about inside the numbers to the 40-yard line. No one is on him. And we throw a pass for a touchdown, I believe. All right, let's look at it one more time. Got a shift that goes on. Got 10 out there. Here comes number 11. Stands on the field inside the numbers. And nobody's on him. And they throw a pass for a touchdown. Talk about the rule related to that. Okay. All right. This is the play. I've kind of got these in the wrong order here. Apologize for that. This is the fumble slash play that I talked about. Fumble or pass. All right, I'm gonna dive in here just a little bit so we can see it a little bit better. All right, so we've got the quarterback back. He's running toward the sideline, and he ends up fumbling or passing, and then we have him. The defense, I believe, recovers the ball. Okay, let's take a look at this one more time. It's really hard to see, not a great video. We have to determine whether or not the ball is going forward here. If it's going forward, then we have to talk about, is this an incomplete pass? If it's an incomplete pass, does he have an eligible receiver in the area? If he fumbles it, and of course the defense recovers it, then it's their ball. So anyway, good play for you guys to talk about in relation to that. All right, let's look at some punts here. All right, we got a punt here. Everything else on this is good. We're looking at the contact on the kicker. One more time for you. You tell me whether you got roughing or whether you don't have anything. Okay? Let's look at this play. All right. Kid runs rugby style, and we have contact on, or potentially contact on, the kicker. All right. Do we think that is roughing the kicker? All right, that's that play. Let's look at another play here. This is, there's going to be contact on the kicker here. Okay. We're also going to get an end zone view of this, I believe. Okay. End zone view. Roughing, running into. Go back and let you see it from this perspective here first. Again, one more time. All right. Then we will look at a same game. Look at the end zone view. Running or roughing into the kicker? Or is it nothing? All right. Then we have two more plays here again, the same game. Got a snap over the head. Guy's running back. Picks it up. Starts to kick it. Eventually we have a touchdown on the play. All right, let's look at it one more time. You make the decision. You make the call. Bad snap over the head. He picks it up. He tries to kick it. His contact made. And then we have a eventual touchdown. Again, same game. Running into the kicker, roughing the kicker, or no call. All right. Those are our plays for weekly discussion this week, and I hope that you enjoy these. I hope that you are using these in your pregame for discussion, and so that you just prepare yourself for your game. Hey, God bless all you guys. Hope you have a great week. Go be great. See you next week.